I see engine 19 at scene. 19, I'm assigning a fire attack. Who is engine 12? Copy fire attack. Fire attack, I see. Go for fire attack. I have engine 19 assigned to you. I have engine.
Alright, on today's Fire Minute, we're going to focus on electrical hazards. Something not uncommon on the fire ground because virtually every home has power running to it. At a fire in 19's district, the crew from Engine 12 had to deal with a pole on fire. I interviewed a gas and electric employee named Ray on pole fires. My first question was what the risks were on a fire with impingement on the high voltage lines and transformer. Here's his response.
So the real risk there is one, if that line does go down and it doesn't trip a transformer or doesn't trip the circuit right away, and you have people in close proximity, the step potential is your biggest risk. Right? So when that line hits the ground, it's going to energize the ground, the dirt around it, and depending on the load is going to determine the range, and no one knows really until it's actually, unless it's happening. But the problem with that is you get your step potential, which means, you're familiar with you take one step into that, let's just say it's a circle, right? And you take one step in of that circle and your other foot's out, now you are the path to ground.
Okay.
So that's a real scary part of step and ground potential is when that line does hit the ground. It's not LA fire had an issue where they had a wire down. Family was in the backyard. The dad, they were having a barbecue. The dad went to go shoot the thing. He got like a stick or something like that. He didn't even make it to the downed popping line. He stepped into that step potential and died right there. The brother, his son, ran out, tried to grab dad to pull him away. He stepped into that step potential as well. They had two bodies in the backyard.
There's also touch potential where a down line can come in contact with a fence, and that whole fence is now charged. Here's Engine 12's firefighter nearly getting tagged with a down line. First off, Yuli, my man, glad you're still with us. Not sure what happened to get you moving when you did, but that was some timing. This had both touch potential and step potential. The crews quickly banner taped off that fence to prevent anyone from touching it. I also asked Ray, as a person who works around electricity far more frequently than most, what sort of risk firefighting is around a pole fire. Here's his response.
I would consider it high, definitely. I mean, especially once you start adding the water, right? The problem with these transformers is they can, if they're still energized and people go around them, or they're shooting a stream or whatever on it, and if that 12 energizes that stream, it's gonna light somebody up. So obviously, probably the best is to stay clear. I mean, obviously, unless there's life-saving stuff, of course. It'd be one of those things that I would say your guys' best bet is to just perimeter, back up far away, and control the scene. Just keep people away while someone's on the horn with SDG&E to get a troubleshooter out there.
I asked Ray specifically about transformers on fire, and here's his response.
It's got an oil in it that can definitely they can explode. So then you got oil from the transformer everywhere.
And I think the takeaway here is that's some bad juju going on with a fire involving power lines or pole. Best to isolate at least a pole span in either direction, contact your electrical side of the power company, and steer well clear of any down lines, that being an absolute minimum of 10 feet. Thanks, Ray, for the info.